So I just tied on my bait here, and I know it's absolutely weedless. So I'm looking at the shoreline here. I'm on a brand new lake. Immediately I notice, well, one, there's a whole bunch of recreational boaters out here. Whenever I see that, it goes hand in hand with shoreline docks. So immediately I see a lot of docks along the shoreline of this new lake I'm fishing here. I see overhanging trees, a couple lily pads, rocky points, your typical shallow water stuff. The beauty of this dark sleeper here is that it's weedless. The hook isn't exposed, so I'm fishing this on a 20-pound test fluorocarbon leader. This is 20-pound test Seaguar and VizX to a 50-pound braided line, and it's a real short leader here. It's only about a 2.5-foot leader, and because I could fish this swim bait pretty much anywhere, I could put this swim bait in 4-wheel drive all across the shoreline here. I could afford to get away with that 20-pound test leader, 50-pound braid, and I'm throwing this on a 7'2" perfect pitch rod. It's a Rochi XX perfect pitch. I use it for frogging. I use it for all my pitching applications. 8.5 to 1 gear ratio reel. I'm gonna be fishing a lot of water quickly. I wanna be in and out of there. And when you're flipping and pitching a swim bait, it's real important to be very thorough, very accurate, in and out and in and out. Most of my bites that happen on this swim bait is gonna be on that initial drop, just like flipping and pitching a jig, just like flipping and pitching a Senko or something like that. So we're just gonna go out here today and fish every piece of shoreline cover we could find. And if there's a largemouth shallow, they're absolutely gonna hop on this thing. There's one, that's a good one. Oh, that was awesome. I'm talking about a flipping jig bite with a swim bait. That is so much fun. That's why you throw the 20-pound test, 50-pound braid. You just kind of pitch up there to shallow cover like that, and they smoke it just like a flipping jig. Guarantee you that fish has never seen a little swim bait like that. And skipping this swim bait around some of these docks, underneath some of these docks, it's really important to have that braid to fluorocarbon, and that's why I'm running that 20-pound fluoro. It's only about a 3-foot leader to this 50-pound braid. With that braid, there's zero stretch there, so when one bites it, I mean, whether you're ready or not, just one good steady sweep of the rod, zero stretch in that line, and you penetrate that hook every single time. So, you know, zero stretch, you're able to be a little more accurate, and the best part about braid is it lasts all year. You know, you spool it up in January and you have it on all the way through December. Just, you know, change out your leaders and, you know, leader sizes. And if you haven't tied an FG knot, you got to look up how to tie an FG knot. We did a video on it last year, and it is by far the best braid to fluoro knot. You just have to, you know, take the time, learn how to tie it correctly, and you'll be surprised at the strength and the durability of the knot. You know, one thing about this swim bait here is you think about, you know, jig sizes and jig weights when you're flipping. Normally you're flipping a 1/2 ounce around docks, shallow docks, anywhere from 1 to 5 feet of water. But with this swim bait here, I like going up to the 3/4 ounce size because it's so thick, because it's got a big body to it and a nice swim tail. That 3/4 actually falls like a 1/2 ounce jig. So kind of keep that in mind when you're pitching around and selecting the size. The 1/2 ounce size really falls like a 3/8 ounce jig, and then this 3/4 ounce size really falls like a 1/2 ounce pitching jig. So it's like perfect for flipping 6 feet or less in these docks and in grass lines and things like that. Man, that thing's real nice. I see this giant laydown. There's big branches, gnarly branches down there, like 4 to 5 feet. I could just crawl this thing over the top and let it fall down through each and every little turn of the branch, just like you would a jig, and just not get hung up. I mean, that's amazing. And another tip on storing these types of swim baits is, you know, don't put them in your regular old tackle box. Try to save the original package. That clamshell plastic right there really does a good job at keeping that tail the exact same shape from the factory, and that is an absolute must. You know, the beauty of this swim bait is as it falls, it's got that nice little shimmy, that tail wag as it falls. It's super natural, and the only way to preserve that really is to keep that original packaging, and just go ahead and slip it right back in there. Make sure that tail is absolutely straight, and you're ready to go for the next fishing trip. You know, when I'm flipping and pitching swim bait to docks like this, I want to make sure I'm real thorough. Although it's you know, a swim bait presentation, and whether it be a mag draft or a dark sleeper or whatever it is, a fish will swim a long way to bite this thing. But when you're flipping and pitching, take the extra time to actually pick apart that dock. So as I approach a dock here, I want to flip the very edges of the dock as I approach it, looking for those real hard feeders, you know, the ones that'll swim a long way to get it. But then look at every single piling, whether it be a small pipe like that, the larger pilings, little pieces of cement and anchors all along that dock, but really pick it apart, because a lot of times the biggest fish underneath those docks will stick real close to those anchor points or those columns or whatever it might be, or those hard spots or clear spots. So pay extra close attention. Take your time, put your trolling motor on about 30%, and take your time really going through these and making that perfect presentation. Those details matter. Oh my gosh. There's one. What a bite. Wow, what a bite. Right on that shade line. Man, that was fun. Well, last night we got pushed off the lake. A big old storm came through and we kind of regrouped. We got off the bank and just kind of found a steeper bank here, and that's the beauty of these swim baits like this, is you can fish them just like a football jig. Kind of bounce them off steep rocks, and right there's a bite. I mean, we haven't been doing it long, and that's a fun one. Like smoked it right on that shade line up there. Check that out. And that's kind of the beauty of these swim baits like this, is I got my pitching rod down here. It's got braid fluorocarbon leader, and I can just kind of pitch docks and shallow cover. Then I've got the exact same rod, 7'2" pitching rod with 17-pound test fluoro, the 1 ounce version of this swim bait, and I'm just kind of pitching it to this shade line, pitching it to this real deep rock, kind of a main lake point here, and just popping it off, and that one right there just absolutely hammered it. So let's keep working this stretch here. You know, I know that the swim bait's staying on the bottom. I know every time I pop it up just like this, down there in 15, 20 feet of water, that swim bait's coming off the bottom and then swimming down back towards the bottom, and then popping up and then swimming down, and it looks so natural to them. It's just a different offering. It's not a crawdad imitator. It's more of a, you know, a goby imitator, more of a bluegill imitator, and it catches a lot of fish. Oh man, that's so much fun. They smoke it like they've never seen it before. Oh man. Well, we didn't catch a lot of big ones. We're on a lake that doesn't have a lot of big fish, but we got a lot of bites. We started shallow, flipping docks and shallow cover, went out deep, caught one, and then came back shallow again and caught a nice fish there. I mean, it's a lot of fun kind of switching it up. You know, replacing a flipping jig, replacing a football jig with a swim bait like this. And I like that 3/4 ounce, that 1 ounce, kind of bouncing it down there, and they absolutely react to it. So next time you're in a flipping situation or a football jig situation, consider throwing one of these swim baits. I mean, you'll be surprised what actually bites this thing. When they bite it, you know it, they bite it hard.